My name is Chanel Riley. I'm so thrilled to be here with this wonderful, wonderful film. Please join me in welcoming two of the artists who brought this acclaimed film to screening. They are both, of course, Academy Award nominees for their work. Please welcome writer-director Joachim Trier. I have waited so long to say this. Academy Award nominee Stellan Skarsgård.
Lufin! Yeah! Woo!
You know what? I'm afraid we're out of time. Thank you so much for being here. Congratulations on a great movie. I want to start with Joachim because this is your follow-up to your acclaimed film, Worst Person in the World. And I'm curious, what the themes were you were looking to explore with this story? And how did you sort of hit upon the lens of telling it through this, theatrical family?
Thank you, and listen, thank you all for coming. I still folks who I co-wrote this with, and me, we used to go to the Cinematic in Oslo. That's where we learned about film history, and I love being in rooms like this, and it's kind of sweet because it's usually somewhere where you watch old movies, and we travel so long, so this starts feeling like an old movie. So what's like that today? So where did it begin? Thank you for doing this. So where did it begin? I mean, what did we want to explore? So much, honestly. I feel that the film. I've learned so much traveling over the last 16 months. Don't you agree about what it actually turned into? And the weird thing when you write something that has kind of a personal touch to it, like this, and it has for me, you get mirrored by wonderful audience members that share stuff with you. And I realized that we probably, all of us, revealed something that we hoped but weren't intending. And I think in my case, something about grief that have traveled in my family from my grandparents' generation, stuff that I didn't know how to articulate quite, but knew was at play, and how it is to be siblings, and all that stuff that we don't really have a language for. I think that's what we realized we made a film about.
What does your family think of the movie? Because my mom just wanted me to be a lawyer. She doesn't get any of this. I'm curious if they see it and if they they understand it, or they feel seen to some degree.
Yeah, I think they do, and I think in a very nice way. I'm a third-generation filmmaker, so my grandfather was a film director, and both my parents did stuff with movies. I've shown it to my mom, my dad, both my brother and my sister, and they've all been moved by it in good ways. What I try to do is, I try not to throw anyone under the bus or say point fingers or idealize, because then it's hard to be creative. So we create characters that are far enough removed from ourselves so that we can be free, yet we re-engage with them almost like actors, emotionally trying to fill them with understanding and critique. So all of them, I feel, has a part of me in them, and none of them. So my younger sister said to me when she saw the film, she was very moved. She said, it's like you took everything in our family, put it into a blender, and created something new out of it. So it's all there, but it's not one-to-one.
And wild how personal it is, yet universal. So many people relate to this story, even though it is very specific.
I hope so. I've learned a new English word, which I think is universally specific. It's kind of a paradox. But no, I think that's what, we are both from small countries in Northern Europe. I don't know how you feel, Stellan, but I come from Norway, 5 million people, 5.5 now. But I had to look for other cultures, look at films from around the world, because I was a film buff, I've seen most of the Norwegian movies by, the 10 minutes it took. There aren't that many Norwegian films. So I had to look for stories from Japan and France and Italy and America and everywhere, and did find that I related to things that were specific. for example, since I'm in this room with a lot of, I'm sure, quite film savvy people, since you guys are coming here. Yasuhiro Ozu, the Japanese director, made some fantastic family stories. That inspired this one. Or One Country Over, your old buddy Ingmar Bergman. That there's always trying to find specificity in different cultures. Kramer versus Kramer, or Ordinary People, or Breakfast Club from America. All were films that made me think, oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
But it's not even my language, but I get it.
Yeah. And Stellan, you played over 150 roles in your career.
Woo!
Being genre. Not just in the last year. But I think it's fair to say it's no small feat to say Gustav is one of your greatest. And he could have been kind of like a cardboard villain, and he is so complex and layered. I'm curious, when you read the script, how you felt about him, and how you went about making him vulnerable in a way I didn't expect, so human.
Yeah, that is, of course, when I read the script, he was a bit more square. He was more, what should I say? It's all more evil, or more insensitive. And I said that to you the first time we met. And but he just said, that was his intention, that I should fix that.
It was. He's such a sweetheart, So it makes.
Yeah, so I filled in the blanks.
Well, I mean, that makes him very interesting, honestly, because I kind of want to dislike the guy, but I'm actually really rooting for this family at the end.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not interesting to do bad guys in it. I mean, if you're sort of working with realism, trying to portray human beings, bad guys it's an invention just for like good guys. And they don't exist really. We're all human, and we all have flaws, and we all have shades, and it's beautiful.
Is it fun though to play the bad guy? I mean, unless you're in an oil bath for most of the movie.
Harkins!
In general, it can be fun, right?
Yeah. But that is sort of it's a cartoon character, but has nothing to do. You don't try to find a psychology that works for Baron Harkonnen. Oh, he was misunderstood. He wanted to find his mother.
What nice, because you really have done every kind of genre I can think of. Maybe not a Western. Have you done a Western?
No, but I like to do one.
Yeah.
Woo!
What generally gets you to say yes to a role? Is it the people involved, the role itself?
Well, it varies. I mean, it's a project. The project is interesting. Some directors I say yes to, even if they come with just a sheet of paper, like this one. and then that is based on not only their skill, but it's the sort of personal relationship with them and the trust. Yeah. But otherwise it varies. I mean, after I've done dark, you sort of independent film, you want to do something lighter, and if you've done a light film, you want to do something darker. It's what I never try to have several films in a row lined up. I try to wait. I have to wait till I've done this one, so I feel what I want to do.
Yeah, I assume most of you saw him on Saturday Night Live. Nobody else hosted, but he was the real star. Doing something like that, like you need to host. Would you ever do that yourself? A big comedy show like that?
No, I can't do it. Yeah, I saw Alexander. He was panicked. He was sweating. He's a young man.
You've done stage, haven't you?
Huh?
You've done stage work. It's
Oh
kind of
yeah,
like
that's sure. Yeah. But well, I mean, you usually have 4 months instead of 4 days.
That's right. You talked about kind of finding that balance and making sure Gustav wasn't, too evil. Was there sort of like a give and take there? Did you ever worry that you pushed it too far? Were you be too unlikable? or were you, always willing to go there?
We were writing, and that's why I want to work with Stellan. It's true what you said. Like I think you have an incredible range and a sense of humanity to you. It's a big thing that directors talk about. There aren't that many male actors around. Sorry for saying this, guys, but that have that range of vulnerability. I think there's a lot of people that can play aggression, stress, confrontation, a lot of that kind of open lostness. It's kind of, I think Stellan Skarsgård is like the post-punk Jimmy Stewart or something. It's got a sense of real vulnerability to you that you bring. And that's the cool thing. You don't work from a place of vanity. And I found that then, to your question, making someone imperfect becomes more interesting when they have that range. Because I think you put it very well, my friend. We're making character-driven stories, human stories, and I mean, as you've just seen, we're trying to talk about reconciliation, but not in the way where we have that talk and it's all good. Because I don't think life is like that, unfortunately. So to have a beating heart inside a complicated father was something that I was interested in. I think you did it brilliantly.
Thank you.
Woo!
Is it ever hard on you as an actor to play, a closed-off character or someone, who is going through so much? Do you take your work home with you? Do you find that, it kind of seeps into your bones whether you want it to or not?
No, not really. I mean, I'm obsessed by the work, but I'm not identified with the work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little more sort of method actors that sort of have to be baking for 3 months to become a baker. But I come from theater, and if you do a Shakespeare play, you play 3 roles in the same evening. You can't take the kind of identification.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not also. I think it's like a laboratory. I mean, the stage we're working on, and you go there with an open mind in the morning. You don't deliver. You're not prepared to deliver something that is done. You go there with an open mind, and you'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
That is the thing that is interesting.
I mean, your whole cast, this ensemble is just phenomenal. They're all Oscar nominees: Renate, Inga, Elle.
Woo!
Can you sort of talk about assembling those? I don't know if they met each other, how you sort of build that chemistry, or you just cast good actors and you go to work.
Mixture. I mean, again, Stellan and Renate were people that I admired, and I knew Renate very well since we've done 2 films previously. So they were who we wrote this for. We didn't really have any options, and we're glad they did it. Inga was someone we found through casting. She's an actress. She's done good work before, but I hadn't noticed really a lot of her work until she came to the casting session, and we saw 150, 200 people. And just I want to give everyone a shot. So we have a long process, and the chemistry between her and Renate was remarkable. But she was quite different than who we thought Agnes was going to be. Agnes was written slightly more. She has this, everyone needs to feel good, this kind of nervous role in the family, and we made her maybe more smiling and jovial. But then Inga comes in with this sincerity, groundedness, this upright, power. And it was so interesting. And then we kind of figured out, okay, so now we didn't have to change the script around so much, but we knew we had a dynamic that was interesting. And then we have Elle, who's remarkable. She had a really tricky task.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because it could have been such a kind of joke with Rachel. Just like, the star doesn't fit in. And that would have been very interesting, we thought. So Elle was very smart. You know the scene when she's reading text that Nora does later?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wanted that to be a very open scene in terms of interpretation. I wanted there to be this ambivalence, like it's good, but is it right? And I wanted the audience to kind of feel that Gustav was quite sure, but I mean, it's kind of good acting, but is it the right style? And Elle really had to nail that.
Yeah.
She gave me many versions, which were all kind of interesting, so we could fine-tune it in the editing. So she's incredibly skilled.
One of my favorite scenes in the movie is actually when they sit down at the table and she says, she thinks she should lead the film. And he says to her, you're a very kind person. Most people wouldn't have done that. And that was not what I expected when I saw, like, hot American actress, cast in a movie that she would be so kind and, like, again, a very human character.
Oh, thank you for that. No, I agree. I think she's wonderful. And kind of knew by making the film, this is such a meta process for all of us, by making the film, and while making it, I felt that Elle was so good, so I knew that by making it together, we could prove anyone wrong who said that, oh, the film is saying that an American actress can't come and do a Norwegian film, because I think we've done it.
Still, I find like chemistry such a weird thing because you put actors together who may have never met and say pretend you've known each other your whole lives or pretend you're in love. You really feel like family for all the good and bad that entails. Did that develop pretty naturally? Did you have time to get to know them?
I think it does. It is natural for an actor to create an intimacy immediately. I mean, you create on a film set. You're intimate in a day. You start to tell them about your love life. You've known them for years, and it's so intimate and so. We sort of. I think that on a film set, you're working so hard and you're so vulnerable that you have to have an intimacy, and you can develop it fast. But you also let go of it fast. I mean, you after 3 months you leave the people, and otherwise you would have 50,000 close friends.
You must have so many text chains. Like, is that like a Mamma Mia chain? Sentimental Value chain? There is, isn't there?
I don't have social media.
Something else that I think is about atmosphere is that you employ a lot of the same people behind the scenes as you did on Worst Person in the World. How does that, lend itself to this atmosphere of trust and family, really?
I'm lucky I have this band, that we worked together, many of us, for all 6 feature films, and even previous on some shorts, several of those. Espen Folk, my co-writer, the editor, Olivier, we were both nominated now for Oscars. We probably 2 years. I've known them for 30 years. We worked together. So it makes me very proud. Sorry for bragging, but I'm very proud of our team. And also on set, we have a wonderful AD team that several of them I worked with for years and years. But it's interesting because we did rehearsals, and Stellan was so skeptical. But then we realized that I'm not doing table reads. I'm just hanging out. We're getting to know each other, and we're testing stuff. And it's me looking at you guys, kind of figuring out how I hopefully can help you every day, in some way or a small way.
And you did something very interesting. You filmed the it wasn't table reads, but we read the lines, and we read them. It was first time. I mean, prima vista, but. He was interested. He wanted to see what happened in the faces more, detail, and he even changed the script because he saw something else in the face.
Yeah, we film everything, and then we tailor the script to the actors. I find that to be just a great thing. And then when you're on set, you feel more confident there. We did a lot of rehearsals in the space of the house, actually. But there's something interesting. I think this screening is kind of in the context of the retrospective that I'm so happy that's happening for Stellan here. And so I want to just say a couple of things, if I may, about how you differ from other actors, because you're quite special. So I love this man so much, and he hates compliments. Okay, so you fucked up my whole system. I usually have this thing where with the ADs, we have like our secret chat with the whole crew every morning, like a bit like in a restaurant, you know, the guests are coming. What's today's challenges? Who are the guests? So we have a lot of characters in this film, for example, a lot of day players, a lot of children, a lot of amateurs, and we tailor each day, we play some music, we watch out so that everyone feels welcome on our set. It's a warm set, no macho bullshit, no one eating sandwiches in front of the actors. When the actors are there, it's really focused, and we pretend we have all the time in the world and are really nice people. When they leave, it's like changing tires on the Formula One cars. So that dance everyone's used to, we're a team that love each other. And then we bring the actors in, and it's like a special, you know, we have like we walk the path into the camera from the green room or the trailer, and no one stands in the way and creates a weird vibe, so that you guys have like a clean path, you know. I think that's respectful. Stellan, on the other hand, wants to be on set all the time. So every morning he comes to set and says that's the sweet he is, this ironic thing, making fun of Norwegian, that sometimes in the morning say, instead of hi, I say morn. The sound. Because it was morn. Oh, Jesus, here he is again. It took me a couple weeks to get, like, all those morning speeches, you were there. So we couldn't keep any secrets from you. But they love you, and you love them, and you know all the people around the camera, the grips, the lighting people, and you hang out, and you tell stories, and it's really lovely, actually. So I started calling him Mr. Cinema. Oh, Mr. Cinema's here. And then on top of that, Stellan does this thing, which I think is so... And this is what because I grew up on film sets too, you know? I was on film sets my whole childhood and learned to shut up and look at the crazy adults playing around. And I realized you did this thing where, maybe it's also because you hate Norwegian food. Like you took a quarter of your salary and invested in even a better lunch for everyone, so that everyone would sit and have like a 3-course meal every day, and you sat with the team and you hung out, and you're the star. Yeah, you were Harkonnen, and you worked with David Fincher. And
Deep Blue Sea.
He really is the mensch. He hangs out with the crew, and I realized you were just as nuts as I am about being on film sets. So you're a good man, still.
Oh.
You did very well during that. I am curious because you have done so many amazing roles and so many great projects. When people see you, what is it that comes up the most? I mean, I assume now it's Sentimental Value, but what do people usually like?
It depends on which country I'm in. It depends on which age group they belong to. I mean, there's something for everyone.
Is there one that like kind of surprises you if somebody brings up a project that maybe isn't as well known that you know you really love?
Yeah, I mean, there are some of the Norwegian films that are smaller and that surprised me that they've been seen. But I don't have any illusions about some small film art house film that we made in Sweden has any impact for in the world, really. But it's fun when they come up to you and say, somebody comes up and see, I saw you in River, for instance. And oh, hi.
Yeah.
But I get those like maybe obscure films you're talking about. You've probably seen them, right? That probably.
I've seen quite a lot of this guy's work.
Yeah. And I'm just surprised you haven't worked together before. Did you know each other at all?
No.
Okay. So you just reached out with this script?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Just,
Wait, did you be at a party once before?
yeah. I saw him at Hans Petter Moland. They showed one of Moland's films here, I think. What's it called?
In Order to Disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Which I'm showing.
Woo!
Director. So I was invited to his birthday party.
Oh,
And
wow.
someone was there, and I was too shy to say hello. I was younger.
But you hadn't done so many films then, so you didn't have them.
I still don't. I like the script. No, but listen, it was, you start, I'm one of these directors. I love actors. I love to be allowed to play with great talent. You know, I've had some great experiences in my life. Also in this country, I worked with Dave Strathairn and Amy Ryan and Gabriel Byrne, and in Europe, Isabelle Huppert, and I was thinking I'd always dreamt of Stellan Skarsgård. So, this was the role. It's mostly about that. There's so many great actors, but you've got to find something that fits. And at that moment in your life as well. And I thought we struck something good here with where you were in your life and this role. And I was lucky.
Yeah.
In addition to Gustav, what has been your most challenging role in all your career? And there is a retrospective going on here, and at the List Police 3, you can see all these amazing movies on the big screen. I highly recommend you go to the website and check it out. Is there one that sticks out as the most challenging?
I think a film that nobody's seen, that it was called Good Evening, Mr. Wallenberg, about it was the Second World War, and Raoul Wallenberg was a Swedish diplomat in Budapest, and he saved a lot of Jews there. But we were shooting that. We shot it. It was a Swedish film, and I did it in German. But we shot it right at the same time as the war was coming down, and the Eastern and what are they called?
The Berlin Wall.
The Berlin Wall. Yeah. And but that was not why it was fantastic. It was we worked very hard. It was very low budget. It was raining and it was cold, and all the nights we worked in the Jewish ghetto that still was there. And I became more or less crazy, and I was awake at night and I couldn't sleep, and I became really stable, and it was because I wanted to make a film about it, and it was to me less important if it was a good film. We didn't have to make a good film. We didn't have to make a good or artistic or fantastic film or anything. The only thing we had to do was to be, in a way, truthful to the people we were talking about, because that became really important. And then after that, every film, every script I read was sort of too light for me. Because I done the full mile out, and I didn't make films for it a while. And then suddenly I was relieved, and I thought I can make any film because it doesn't matter. And then I became lighthearted, and I could do Mamma Mia, for instance, which was impossible before, because I was too snobbish.
Before we go, actually, I'm curious, has anyone seen this for the first time tonight? Wow! Okay, that's actually fantastic, and what a joy to see on the screen. This movie is, now everywhere though. It's still in theaters, actually, I believe. It's such a special film. Please, I was going to say spread the word, but I feel like the whole world is seeing it at this point.
It's still a Norwegian film, and we're out there in an environment where there are much bigger films. So I appreciate you saying that. Thank you all for coming.
Yes, thank you all for being a great job.